A very good morning to the ladies and gentlemen present here to be listening to, and the content of my presentation or my talk would be around the fact of my favorite subject, which is food. And as you can see it from my stomach, which is covered with some kind of a Modi jacket today, camouflaged, as they say in Bengal, I mean in the whole of eastern region, particularly in Bengal, that we live to eat, and that's absolutely literal. I'm sure that people present here would actually understand that. And I have a very good old friend of mine sitting here, Arindam, who's a chef, and he keeps on telling me how his day went through the food from breakfast when he plans his dinner at the breakfast table. And ladies and gentlemen, we are actually missing our honorable, minister today, because he was supposed to be the opening batsman. Usually I play around four down, 3 down, and Sanjeev also said that he's coming second half. So I would just like to tell you the kind of perspective. I'm thankful to Ritu to have invited me, and the endeavor they have taken to do this, because Ritu, you got the, you come into this particular region at the right time, because lots is happening here, and I can see that, the belief and the faith we had in this region, particularly Calcutta and the whole region. And 1999, we started the first mainland China not in Park Street, we started in Guru Sadai Road. Now, this is not to boast and, talk about that, but then somehow intuitively I felt that because the kind of passion Bengalis have, the Calcuttans have, which is actually percolated to the whole east of India, naturally, because what Calcutta usually does is it inspires the other states around it. So we saw that happening, and I'm very, very happy that, we went to Assam, we are in Guwahati, we are in Patna. We are in Patna, we are going to be in Ranchi very soon. And in fact, I knew that this is going to be happening, and I must tell you that Calcutta has the, one of the largest in terms of the return, per capita returns for us as a company. And we continue to believe that this zone will grow more and more, and still the appetite is big. So that's on a macro level that I can tell you. As Ritu said very interestingly, that all of you present here from different parts of the eastern region, Assam, I'm sure Jharkhand, Bihar, Guwahati, and the Seven Sisters, maybe I'm sure, because there also there's a big potential. So welcome to all of you, and I'm extremely happy that this is the right time to talk about what we had envisaged as a specialty restaurant, put our focus on Eastern region is coming true. And you name the brand, whether it's Riaz, A.D. Singh, it's, Zorawa, everybody is looking at Calcutta. Everybody is looking at Calcutta, and the rest of it will follow as we have followed. But we've been a little more adventurous to have gone to, Assam, Orissa. In fact, we are in Bhubaneswar. So that's a different kind of thing. So I'll tell you what, historically, Calcutta is famous for things which are very, 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 classical. Whether street food, Calcutta has led it, the biryanis of Calcutta, the rolls of Calcutta, because I must tell you, while Ritu said that McDonald's obviously is an iconic brand, but mind you, they couldn't make too much of penetration within Calcutta because of the reason that Calcuttans have a very, very discerning palate. They will not accept anything and everything. No offense meant to McDonald's. They are good in its own way because their offerings are good, but the Calcutta roll beats a McDonald's burger. Any day, any time. And that's my understanding. I don't know if you will agree with this, because in Park Street, their per square feet return is lower than anywhere else, and money square. So I don't think they're there accepting the food courts rest of in Calcutta, because Vikram Bakshi, who went through a bit of a patch, is a very dear friend. So he keeps on talking about what has happened in the East. So I must tell you that whether it's Ready Wala, like Delhi, Raste Ka Khana, Hindustan mein Raste Ka Khana bhi tasty hota hai, particularly in Calcutta. I'm sure that all of you know that Calcutta started a trend. If you remember the 60s, when Usha Uttup used to sing in Trinkas, And when there was a Blue Fox, there was a Sky Room, the whole of Park Street, everyone from rest of India used to come and celebrate the Christmas New Year here. I'm sure the youngsters may not know it and believe it, because I know the fact that the whole of India used to come. You ask the Punjabis, the friends of mine in Delhi, you would ask people from Bombay, they would come here, and there was a very active nightlife in Calcutta. I'm talking about those days, because as you know that it was through Calcutta that the East India Company was formed, and the British came in from here and entered, and it was a capital of India for a long, long time. And the impression of the clubs, like the Tolly Club, Bengal Club, Calcutta Club, Saturday Club, all of them continue to have a big impression in Calcutta's cuisine. Every cult of food has a history. Now, if you ask me that the biggest inspiration I got is from the city, was my answer to the city's food called O Calcutta. Because I personally think it's a melting pot of cultures, and it has, from Armenian to Mughlai to the, East Indian, the typical Goan East Indian food, everything, the ball curry to the fact that they have the Parsi cuisine, everything was in Calcutta. Now, I would like to say that this history has, in between, if you ask me, the focus of Bengal had, gone away. But today, Bengalis have not gone away from eating. Whether it is, in Deshapriya Park, they eat on the road in a place called Mini Walks, or they now have upgraded to a mainland China, because the Calcutta taught the rest of India how to eat Chinese. All the people who have given birth to, the Chinese from Calcutta have given birth to Mr. Nelson Wong, or you talk about any other Chinese who's Baba Ling, they have a Tangra connection. They've all started from here. And, you will see one cook or the other from Tangra in every Chinese restaurant, including us. Some inspiration coming in. So what I'm trying to tell you, I'm just trying to give you a background of the fact that we live to eat here, and similarly this pattern is being seen in the whole footprint of Eastern India. Now, I met Pankaj of Zomato the other day, and he said that, I'm sure it's a published data, but he said that the maximum, per order is, for delivery is in Calcutta, which is 690 rupees as against Delhi, which is around 600 or 595. Which also talks about the kind of appetite Calcutta has, and people of Calcutta do have. I personally feel that we should check with the doctor whether they have how do they have a deep appetite, because, a Bengali is typically, I will tell you, we've grown up in Calcutta, I've studied in Calcutta, we've seen this, because when we would actually, we will eat a luchi mangsho or luchi torkari in the morning, we will plan for the dinner, and if there is a celebration in the evening, supposing shadi hai, kuch bhi hai, we know there could be a possibility of an acidity, and we will take a gelusil in our pocket, but still go for the evening function. And this is historical. And trust my word, all the people present here would understand what it means. And I also will tell you with my data, which is with me, that the maximum amount of antacids are sold in Bengal. No wonder. So you must understand, Ritu, you have come to the right place. People do understand, they are drunk on food, and this will grow more and more. I have a friend of mine, I'm sure he may not be present, he is one of the keynote speakers here. Mr. Sagar, is he here from Wow Momo? No, not really. So he'll come in the evening, I think he's one of the keynote speakers. So I have seen him taking the humble momo from, street side to build an empire. And I'm very proud that he's from Calcutta. Unfortunately, somehow or the other, he interfaces with me on a regular way, because we've also gone through the equity rounds and gone to the IPO, and I think he's going the same way. Just the humble momo, which is also given birth by Calcutta, the Tibetan influence. It may be popular in Nepal, it may be partly popular in, of course, Tibet. It's actually given birth in Tibet, but it has come to Bengal and it's become huge. And it's also big in the northeastern, whole of the Seven Sisters. So So if you want to take a focus on a right kind of food which is connecting with the human beings of India. For example, I have a friend of mine who studied in the catering college with me. His name is Azhar, and he's the man who has given birth, his generations have given birth through Armenia. He was not scaling up. He had one Armenia opposite the Calcutta Corporation, where we've grown up eating, and small cabins and things like that. See, he's somehow or the other, we've been interfacing and love the Armenia biryani. For me, I've compared all biryanis, done a blind test. I'm not going to advertise Armenia. I have no stakes in that, don't worry. So that to me, Armenia biryani cooked in that particular opposite the corporation, Calcutta Corporation, is the best. So I kept on telling him, move man, like Ritu was saying, that you need to expand, you need to take your cuisine, move, and be, expand. Because expansion is growth, contraction is death. So that's what we believed in. If you don't expand, what happens? Scalability is what the equity, the private equity is looking for. They're not looking for one restaurant. They don't believe in that. They're not looking for a boutique restaurant. It's not, from the ADs and the Riyazes have understood that they can't just do one and they can't be on a page 3. They need to scale it up over a period of what we did with the mainland China as the flagship brand. Now here I will tell you that Armenia was not moving out. I mean, somehow I pushed him a little bit, and he also understood because it's a generation-old enterprise. But look at Armenia. As we are talking, they are going to be in Dhaka. In fact, I had a friend of mine, because we have 2 restaurants in Dhaka, I put him on to somebody and then he's doing it. He's in the whole east. Of course, there is Arsalan, there's also Jishan, etc., etc. They're also expanding. To the extent that the Arsalan gentleman went to Bombay, but my problem, my issue with biryani is that biryani is the most regionalized dish of India, because in Hyderabad you have a Hyderabadi, you have Paradise, you go to, the Tamil Nadu, there is Talapakkam or Talakattam biryani, then you come to the northern part, this is Awadh, and the kind of, Sugandhwali biryani, jo Dampok ki biryani hai. And then it keeps on moving, and then there is a Calcutta biryani with a big potato and big, deem, that is the anda. So, I mean, since we're talking about biryani, amar mukhe jol chole asche. So, as I sometimes, Ritu, I must tell you, when I get down at the airport and I feel that what should I eat? Biryani. So, before I have the meeting, I push it by an hour, or so I get down, I'll go to Armenia, finish my meal, eat till here, and then go for the biryani. So this is what I'm trying to tell you. This is what is a typical Bengali. Okay. I keep on telling this to him that, हम तुम्हें, मैं तुझे, I tell him, मैं तुझे नूडल दूंगा, तुम मुझे बिरयानी दो. Subhash Chandra Bose का जो, new ways of saying it. So back to, on a serious note, I'll tell you that Bengal continues to be, so you can scale up. There are people who do business, I mean, I'm telling you, these biryani average, they do around 1 crore of rupees from one shop per month, average. With an average ticket size of 180, 140 rupees. 1 crore of rupees of biryani is being sold from one store. Minimum I'm talking about. On the days of puja, etc., don't ask me. They must be doing only for these, 5 or 6 days, they must be doing around 5 to 7 crores of rupees. Because it's, from the morning to evening, I've seen him sending handis. I'm just talking about only one single pot meal called biryani. See the potential, see the depth. Similarly, I'm talking about momos. Look at the potential, scalability. So I'm saying that I'm not saying I want to be, I'm a Trikaldarshi, that I know everything past, present and future. But having done that for 22 years, I surely now know that what not to do. So I think that what is important here is that focus on one single, whichever product you believe in, whichever cuisine you believe in, try and see how you can look at the scalability. Ritu also said very interestingly that, which I believe very strongly, I told my son who's just joined me, that restauranting business, I'm not trying to say that, let me tell you what, I tried to be a doctor, failed, I tried to be many more things, failed, didn't want to do, my father's, didn't want to follow that track of being a scientist, but eventually I had, joined the catering college, and then my father said that, those days, 82, he said that, listen, when you grow up, what would you be called? I said, I'll be a manager and all. I said, at the end of it, you'll be a waiter, or you will be a cook. But actually, Thakur Chakurer bidde korchish for Bengali. Means he's saying that you'll be one of these, cooks. So what will happen to you? Thankfully, unfortunately, he's not here. He'll be very proud to understand that how big this industry and how much of a respect that, to the extent that my good friend Sanjeev is a Padma Shri. Just look at the stature of the chefs and stature of the industry. I think these are the people who have given us so much of respect. Otherwise, we would just be cooks and, some junior managers and waiters in the industry. Now, you must have great confidence in the East from the point, you see, everything is related to the kind of output which happens. If you see the number of catering colleges, I don't know if you count the number of catering colleges which are in the East, you will be amazed. And the manpower supply of the industry today, 60% of the supply of manpower is from Bengal, Bihar, Assam, Northeast. 60%. You go to any restaurant, 5-star, roadside, street, there has to be somebody from the East. In fact, either Northeast, I don't need to tell you that there's no hostess which is from anywhere else. They look chinky, they look good, and they're very presentable, they're nice, and they're warm people, they sing a song, and they're great. Northeast is one of the best places. I love the people of Northeast. And what we do is that we induct them, and there's a happy birthday, they'll go and sing. They're very talented. We're extremely proud of them and all the people who've stayed. Then you will see people coming in from also Nepal. The Nepalese of Bengal, Darjeeling have also become big cooks and chefs. There are people who stayed with us for 17, 18 years and they've become unit chefs, corporate chefs, and very humble beginnings. They're not from the catering college, but they continue to surge and in this atmosphere. So what I'm trying to tell you is that here is one city and in a place called Kolkata, and the whole of East, if you see, the number of catering colleges will tell you exactly what's happening around. And every year I get a call or two, very good qualitative people who wanted to be doctors, sons want to be, part of the hotel industry, and they ask me that, can I, good friend of mine, IIHM, that is another legend here, Mr. Shubhan Bose, who's, made IIHM maybe more popular than IIHM. I am a student of the IIHM Kolkata, but he's somehow, taken this whole, space and he dominates it and he does it so well. So I would say that this particular practice of hospitality, the practice of food, the scalability is very much around here. Sometimes what we do is that we think that it's an easy job. Now I said I started with the fact that I failed in many, to get into admissions, etc. And eventually I'm today a restaurateur. But let me tell you one thing, it's one of the most difficult enterprises to run. Danny Myers, I'm sure you've heard of him, one of the rock stars of the New York restauranting, industry, like the Alan Yao of London. So he has gone on record laying the table. If you have not read the book, kindly read the book called Laying the Table, and you will understand what it means to actually run a restaurant. In his book, he has quoted, I'll just tell you what it is, I was just reading online. He said that, while many other professions have their own challenges, and they are difficult when it comes to running them for a long period of time, you will see that this is one profession in which you have to have knowledge of the real estate, human resource, cuisine. So you need to be a chef at heart as an entrepreneur. If you're a chef, well and good. Finance, money, food cost control, that's also cost control, balance. Then corporate governance, licensing. India needs 31 licenses to get into the restaurant industries, unlike anywhere else. And the marketing and, the social media today and the marketing ability. One of the reasons I'll tell you, I am basically a very right-brained person because of my genetic code of being coming in from a scientific background of my father. So that was my research. That's why I worked with the Taj Group of Hotels, quit them and joined Anand Bazar Patrika. And when I was the regional head, I left because in the evening I did a marketing course. And I personally feel business is marketing. Of course, you have to have other layers and the fundamentals of the brick of understanding, but money doesn't make money. Those days have changed. Money makes money, millions make billions. idea makes billions. Ideas make billions. So today Uber is on the front page because of some kind of a disruption within their own society, the company. The founder is being challenged by the investors, that apart. But you see this whole world is becoming Uberization of the business is called, that's what I call Uberization of business. But Airbnb, in spite of the fact that the whole of Marriott, which has acquired the SPG and become the largest conglomerate of the hotels, holding X number of, I don't know the number of hotels they have under their umbrella, but there is one man who started Airbnb. He built 1,000 hotels or accommodation on exactly in 1 year. So it's a completely different kind of a world. Now you may say that, how am I correlating it to the hotel or the restaurant industry? Now, why am I saying this? That besides the front end, which is the restaurant's retail part of it, there is a huge potential in the backroom delivery. Fresh food in Bangalore. Then another Bengali friend of mine who's done, I just forget, they had Fasos. How they have turned around their models. Of course, fresh food was always a delivery model. There is a humongous level of potential in the delivery business, especially in the eastern region. I will tell you, 18% of our food top line comes in from food deliveries, thanks to the Zomatos, Swiggies, and the Grab. Grab is not present here. So these are the Zomatos and Swiggies. Because today you have an app, you just order something from somewhere, you don't want to go, because distances within each city is becoming difficult. Calcutta is comparatively better because the density of population is huge within each pocket. But logistically it's difficult for people to go across. You are lazy, you're watching a match, you don't want anything. So the whole patterns are changing. All over the world, like I was in London this time, besides the others, Deliverance and other things which have been happening over a period of time, there's one brand which has come out which actually is much more effective than the others, which has got a valuation of around 3 billion. And this is called Deliveroo. I'm sure that you can go online and see it. Many of you know it, Deliveroo. And I was staying at the Taj, then I moved to the Washington Hotel. Everywhere we were getting any kind of food, from Amaya to everywhere. Fine dining restaurants, excepting the Sexy Fish or the Pak Chinois, which don't do any deliveries, which is very super premium brands. So what is happening is that besides the retail front, which is a big investment, because your entry cost there is very large. And even in the East, the average, square feet area rentals are lower, I understand, from India, from rest of India, but it continues. So if somebody wants to do a startup and does one home delivery base to start with, and then, get strength to move out, there is a humongous amount of, opportunity which is coming in, which is not, it's just started. This revolution is just started. So I'm just telling you there's another business which you don't need to be always on the main road to, pay the real estate guys and then move out. However, having said that, we've gone to Patna 3-4 years ago, and I've seen good vision there. We are, obviously, the average per head is lower than that of Calcutta. We've gone to Durgapur in Bengal, and now we're going to Ranchi. In fact, tomorrow I'm going to Ranchi. So the point I'm making is that once you get one model right, which is profitable enough for you to scale up, you can always invite a private equity or a ventures, funding company, which, if here we have done in our own way. You see the Wow Momo, and there are other 3 brands which are being tracked within Bengal to be scaled up through private equity money. So I would say that, so the East, whether it's Bengal, obviously everything starts from Calcutta and Bengal because the trend setting is here, and also Bangladesh. I was asking the permission of Ritu, should I talk about Bangladesh? They have almost 12.5 crores people living there, and there's obviously a bottom level of pyramid, and then you have no middle class there, then you have the top. But at the top, there are people everybody's staying abroad, and they spend money like nobody's business. Our mainland China has existed for 6 years and continues to rock. Similarly, that's why I pushed Armenia to go there. So I am saying that there is a huge opportunity which is in the whole of the cluster of the East, and it is possible to do it, because if you think that you always need huge amount of money, no. There is one London restaurant, I must tell you, give you an example. A chef from Bombay went there, partnered with two other guys, and he calls it gunpowder. It's in Shoreditch. In Shoreditch, the first year they started, they had around 22 people, could sit there, Sita restaurant, which created history. It's got the Michelin star. First year of operation. What kind of food? Inspired by Calcutta. There's, sea bass with some shortshare and some kind of a local, he's mixed it up and all. Very good food. Chef-led restaurant. So when I went in there, everybody, so there is some Gagan for that matter. What Ritu was talking about in Bangkok, it's the top 50 restaurants of Asia. He's top 3. Sorry? Asia Pacific, yeah. I'm talking about the one Rashmi Uday Singh does last year also. He was in the top 3, 4, 5. I mean, that's in first 10 rankings are for Gagan, a very good friend of ours. What does he do? Jhalmuri ke molecular gastronomy ghete phete chu mantar. He's a magician, and he says that. So you have, there is. So just imagine the legacy of Bengal, Calcutta, and the East who are going across. There are people who've gone across from here, and they're working in Amaya, Camilla's restaurant, and they're rocking it. They're all from Karunesh, from IHM Calcutta. Karunesh was Rajesh Dubey's batch, and I met Karunesh this time. So he's the main control. I mean, everything in Amaya is taken, and all decisions are taken by him. So both ways, food entrepreneurs or foodpreneurs, as I call, as well as people who are actually growing in from the fraternity of profession. Both ways there, this place is giving, there's a lot of potential, and it is a very fertile land from where people, because at the end of it, there is an art, it's a commercial art in selling food. You just can't not be, passionate about food and be in this business. No. It is not a business of Martin Sorrell, who's completely corporatized the whole advertising industry by acquiring JWT to O&M to the Mindshare and put together everything. It's not a man who will just come in from there. You have the, you see the Danny Myers or the Jamie Oliver or anybody talking about, they have passion for food, they love food, they like to feed people. So if you don't have that, that's a prerequisite of the entry, whether you have money or no. Your understanding of the space starts with that. So, if I were to conclude and say certain things about what will happen to the East now going forward, both in deliveries and front of the house, different kind of adventurous cuisine will come. Now, it used to be a bottom of the pyramid market. It started with the bottom of pyramid market, aspired to have once upon a time the sky rooms of the world, the whole Park Street. In fact, one of my most favorite restaurants, which I talk about, is the Mocambo. Even, almost, I think there will be maybe around 40 years, 50 years, I don't even remember. And they've expanded now, I'm very happy. So, similarly, the Kotharis of the world who run, the barbecues or the pita cats and they continue to rock. How do they rock? Because the fact they have a consistent product and they don't want to expand. That's their choice. But I think that the opportunity has come that from the bottom and mid of the pyramid, which used to be affordable luxury, I would call it the affordable luxury. From there, you will see this is becoming a little more aspirational. The East is becoming a little more aspirational to a fine dining, which is again within a bracket of, I'm talking about the affordable luxury, which would be a barbecue. From there, you move to a your Mocambo or a Peter Cat, and then the average per head goes slightly up in the mainland channels of the world. I am aghast to see that after we started long ago, only fish, from there we changed it to O Calcutta, which is I thought that's very close to my heart, that cuisine, and I thought that's got a great potential. And I'm very, very happy that Eastern entrepreneurs from here have given birth to Bhajohari Manna. They've given birth to, I think, Sholopap, Tarapap Bon. I see one restaurant after Baliganj, 6 Baliganj, Palit's 6 Baliganj, and many more coming in, and suddenly the Bengali foods come into the map of India. So I would only say that you need to be a trendsetter. There's no reason why you can't create this kind of food. There's somebody, I heard that somebody's doing some northeastern cuisine, Nepalese, etc. They're changing some, I forgot, is it here or is it in London or somewhere? So I think some D or something which they're giving birth to. No, the same gunpowder people are doing it in London. Just imagine the food of the Seven Sisters and Nepal, momos, etc., etc. So they're doing something. Madam D, okay. Madam D, D for doctor. They're starting in Shoreditch next. In fact, when I was chatting with him. So see the potential of the cuisine which you can actually cater to. One important thing is that you need to ensure that the ingredients are authentic. Because if you are not through the art funnel, I keep on saying, which is my learning in advertising, which is ART, which is authentic, relevant, and talkable. If you don't create a story around your brand, you're dead. These days are not without stories. Once upon a time when we started the organization, we could just go with a good proposition of price, product and price, and do a little bit, of course, top of mind advertising wherever possible. Now, I will give you an example of my son who's 25 years old, who gave birth to a brand called Hoppy Pola, which seems to be, somehow going well with the teenagers, and 21 to 30, 21 to 28 kind of a audience. Now he's done another super premium luxury, which is in the form of POH, Progressive Oriental House, which is, he's taken, I was just talking to Ritu, who's that one of the finest chefs in this area has been modern Asian is Chef Vikramajit Roy, who's again a Calcutta student of IIHM, and he is gone and joined hands with him to start this particular restaurant. I mean, by the time it is not even open, it is not even gone anywhere. He's put a curtain raiser and put it on the air, all his friends, everywhere the whole thing is going, and he's very lucky that his batchmate was somebody called Alia Bhatt. I never had Amitabh Bachchan with me, or any girl studying with me. So, Alia has put on her Snapchat, or Instagram, I don't know what, and she has apparently 16 million followers. So he's got a hit of around 16, 17 lakhs, much before the product is born. We're launching in first week of July, but then everything is already on. So I just told him, Bhaiya, itna uncha mat chadao. It's like a dulhan jisko aap Hema Manli bolte ho, to samne Hema Manli bhi aati, aapko pasand nahi aati. Sometimes you overhype a product, it dies faster if you don't find it. So that's a very big trick you should not do. Very slow and steady wins the race, but then he will never listen to me because he believes that his ideas are the best in the world. He's the only one who challenges me. Anyway, so very interestingly, I'll tell you what. So what happens, why does a restaurant fail? There's you go online and see in Cornell, there is a research done, why do restaurants fail? Must read that. It's important to understand that. Why? Because the entrepreneur who starts it loses his steam after a while. I was almost losing my steam. IPO ho gaya, baithe hai, kar rahe hain, expansion, corporatized company, everything fine. Suddenly my son comes and disrupts me. He said, Dad, all you have done is wrong. All that you did all this time is wrong. And he started teaching me what is happening in the world because he studied in England and he came back. He never went to a chef school, but he's a chef at heart. And he started taking over the Hoppy Pola against because I'm more of a food guy, not of a drink. So he just pushed me, saying that, allow me to do that. We've got around 19 of Hoppy Polas, and then now Delhi one is opening Cyber Hub now. So he continues to, identify and ensure that people are, because this generation, which is the new generation which is coming, even in Calcutta, the grids of the world, the monkey bars of the world, if you see that, the gastropubs which are doing well. Interestingly, I keep on saying that there is one thing I talk about, this generation is khana to bahana hai, daru jo peena hai. Because you see, everybody there is not interested. If after a couple of beers, a couple of shots, the shot culture, you're not interested in what you're eating. You actually don't know what you're eating. So that's a different generation which is coming, and mind you, it's the most potential generation of India. Because the average age of an Indian is around 25, 26. So it's the youngest country in the world. Although Modi ji will not like this culture happening, and tomorrow there may be a ban on liquor, which has already started. As you know, the barriers which are being created for the restaurant industry, I was talking to Ritu some time back, that, by the time you give birth, there's a service charge issue, which is Mr. Paswan has taken over, and he suddenly has become the protector of the consumer. And then you have the, demonetization, because, a lot of cash money comes into the restauranting business in the form that people spend money, splurge money when they have that chupa hua paisa. No offense meant. So that is going down, and obviously in places like Delhi, etc., you can see that the average, per head spend is going down. So, and then you have barriers like suddenly the Supreme Court tells you can't serve liquor in the 500 meter, and then we've lost 6 restaurants licenses. So these are different kind of barriers and the challenges which keep on going in, but that apart. On a positive note, I personally think that it's an extremely optimistic, and a futuristic zone of the Eastern India, and I think that having understood it from year 1999, we have believed that, this Eastern region will grow more and more, and fortunately, states like Jharkhand, to start with West Bengal, the government of West Bengal, Mr. Amit Mitra, who have interacted with him. The licensing process is becoming easier. They are trying to give, and they understand. I have gone and told them that the per capita manpower, requirement in this industry is the highest, because if you want a glass of water, you need a human being to give it. So they understand the potential of that. They understand the catering colleges coming in. So he's been very supportive, and so has Mrs. Mamta Banerjee, who Honorable Chief Minister, and I think that they are trying to get, if the Honorable Minister had come, he would have given us some more data, and they are actually trying to bolster the whole tourism industry, and which restaurants become a focus. So here is one space in which you can create things. It's a lot of hard work. I don't need to tell you, most of you are in the business. It's back-breaking, and there's a new animal which is coming into this industry is the rich kid, which I could only afford an ambassador when, I started my business. My son starts with the Maserati. I always told him, don't start it because you're a rich kid. Start because you believe in an idea. So what is happening is that they think there's a lot of glamour in this industry. You will be on the page 3. Of course, you could be. That's not the point. But trust me, it is back-breaking. People who are, all of you are professionals sitting here, chefs of, revered people sitting here. So I'm sure that all of you know it. So one needs to understand the path is not so easy, but at the end of it, there is a lot of optimism and great opportunities which are lying to happen. I thank once again Ritu to have called me here, because this is one of my most passionate subjects, because as we finish now, I will go and try and explore as to where I can eat, after I meet a gentleman there in the ministry. But I can say this to you, that I'm truly honored, and if there's anything that I can do for this forum or any individual at any given point of time, my mail ID, etc. is here. Especially the entrepreneurs from Bengal and people from the East, if they want to get any direction, if I am whatever I am worth, I would love to give them, because time has come that we pay it back to the society, and we would like to have more and more entrepreneurs. Some of them, who consult me on a regular basis, maybe, Sagar, of course, he's a rock star, but there are other people who do it, who know me. So I keep that door completely open. And once again, thank you, all of you, for having listened to me patiently. And I wish everyone, and I want to see more and more brands growing, homegrown brands going national. Thank you so very much.
Thank you so much, sir. Yes, I was about to tell him to kindly stay back, that because we have a beautiful memento from Franchise India that we would like to hand over to you, sir.
We'll take a few questions.
Yes.
Happy to take some questions from the audience.
We are absolutely ready to take some questions from you.
Well, that was really an invigorating talk, Mr. Chatterjee, and I must say that, your passion for food and your passion for actually seeing the food business grow in the eastern region was very evident right now. So I'm going to sort of break the ice and ask you the first question in the house today. And, you know, so my question is that East India is a great market, and, you know, it's a great market. We have great foodies over here. How would you, as a East India origin restaurateur, tell the community that, you know, what is the time to grow out of East? I mean, you know, you're probably, your early restaurants were here, but then you decided that, you know, you wanted to put up restaurants in the rest of the country and now the rest of the world. What was one indication that you saw that, you know, I need to move out of the Eastern region and take my brand now across the country?
See, what happens, Ritu, is that you need to get your model right. You need to understand that, you know, when you have the revenue management of yours, you see first thing, people are coming. That's the first indication. People are actually identified and they're liking the food, the kind of food that you have. Because what we did, in fact, the flagship brand, mainly China, we understood that these standalones have a great opportunity in Chinese because unfortunately, these standalones never served a Peking duck or a good dim sum or a broccoli or a snow pea. So we saw that opportunity and we understood that yes, the cost allows us to, you know, expand this model. So once you stabilize a model, run it for 18 months. See, first few months you will always see a surge, usually. And then any product life cycle starts, you know, plateauing. So once you see the plateau, then you see your economics. Store economics are very important. If you have the store economics right, and you see that, okay, my manpower is this percentage, food cost is this, and I am being able to leverage, and my EBITDA is leveraged, because every investor is looking at the EBITDA. So EBITDA levels are above 12%. Once you do that, then you think I can do a second restaurant. But most important in this whole game is the retail cost, the real estate cost. The real estate cost in our learning cannot go now. We paid even 18-20%, but we've stabilized it to between 12 and 14%. Anything more than that, you're creating trouble. Because what's happening, a lot of people are coming in, taking spaces which are big. And another learning that we have, do the restaurants on one floor. Never have a multi-floor restaurant. Disaster, because your manpower levels go up. Logistics become difficult, complaints come in, and your costs go up. And second one, very important thing, would be that you should start small. Never take, because the world is changing, more and more competition is coming. Your pie is being divided. It's not London, it's not Singapore, it's not US, where people don't eat at home. But here there's a, you know, it's growing, the trend is coming in, and in 5 years it will change, because more and more nuclear families, you know, I'm talking about my son's generation, they will never eat at home. Once in a while, you know. So this whole trend will take another 5 years to come, because number of people entering the food zone, eating out zone is less, slowly growing. So I think one is the real estate cost. Ensure that you have a cuisine which actually resonates with people. Like we understood that, see, you know that Chinese is the most popular foreign cuisine in the world, and in India too. So Ready Wala bhi Chinese besta hai, Tangra has become a history. So we first picked up the right cuisine, started looking at all the components, understood the store economics, learned in 18 months, 19 months, then we made the second restaurant. So these are some kind of cautions you need to take.
Yes, please. Yeah, we're just coming to you, sir.
Hi, my name is Abhishek. So you was mentioning some restaurants from London like Gunpowder, Lokhandwala, Benares. The kind of cuisine they are doing over there is progressive Indian cuisine, right? So I came back myself from London to open a restaurant in India. So I was wondering, like, is there a space where you can do progressive Indian cuisine, or is it like Calcutta is very comfortable kind of food scenario with Indian food? Is there any room where I can break the cuisine and make it, you know, fine dining in a sense, like not presenting it into, let's say for example, I want to do a tasting menu. Will that work in Calcutta, as a tasting menu in Calcutta with Indian food?
See, I tell you very honestly that if you're talking about Vineet Bhatias and Atul coaches of the world, what they have done in that part of the world, I think they've created history, and obviously there's a huge attraction. That particular kind of a food is more, I would call it Gora-centric, which is more whites. So, so I'll be very honest with you, in a five-star menu of this kind, which you're talking about, a tasting menu, does work, and it's not working very well because you see, Atul has opened a restaurant in the Oberoi's, Mr. Vicky Oberoi's favorite restaurant, doesn't do too much, called Zia. So that's not happening. So they have a tasting menu. There are other places also which have done, tried to do this. But I think that's slightly more evolved. It's slightly too early because Hemant has opened a restaurant called Hemant Oberoi. There he has a tasting menu, of course. But it's not resonating with people because beyond a particular, see, we must understand, very important for you to understand the psyche of an Indian. Kitna bhi paisa ho, ghum phir ke, he would like to go through the whole a la carte menu and order. And at the end of it, हम हिंदुस्तानी साले कंजूस है थोड़े तो उतना बड़ा दिल नहीं है कि जैसे ही 2,500 का एवरेज चेक हो गया बाहर जाके एसिडिटी हो जाती है तो वो मतलब I think you have to wait for another 5-7 years to do a tasting menu restaurant and which is chef led, which doesn't find, it won't be a commercial art, it'll be an art. That's my understanding. Again, anything can happen in this world, so I'm not Trikaldarshi. I'm telling you my experience and my personal vision.
Thank you very much, sir.
We'll go to our next friend.
Me? Hello, my name is Shobitro. I come from Bangladesh.
Yes, please. Welcome.
Yeah.
Salam alaikum, bhai.
So basically, I was involved in engineering business because I come from engineering background. So, but restaurant was my great passion, and of late I could start some restaurant in Dhaka. That is kind of seafood restaurant.
Ki naam?
That is Deck 13. Deck 13. It's a very new restaurant in Dhanmondi. So actually I have two questions. First of all, so I want to know in case of entrepreneur, new entrepreneur, so what kind of restaurant he should target? Special restaurant, kind of celebration or special meal, or for general meal? I mean for regular lunch, dinner or kind of things. Which business has more profitability?
No,
Special
I mean,
or-
if I'm trying to understand you, and please correct me if I'm going wrong, you're trying to say that should you go and try and do a kind of a slightly more occasion-based restaurant, or should you do a normal, Mach Bhatter hotel, lunch, dinner kind of thing? See, this is your choice. I continue to believe that Bangladesh, যেটুকু আমি ঢাকাটা বুঝি, and you have one ধানসেরিও রয়েছে ওখানে, হাজি মিয়ার বিরিয়ানিও রয়েছে, then you also have the 5 stars, and then you have the standalones of Sanjeev Kapoor or likes of mainland China or Calcutta. So it is your choice of understanding, because there is one, right here there is a class, as you know, and then there is one premium. There is no middle class in Dhaka and Bangladesh, my understanding. So you can't be, you need to do একেবারে ধানসেরিও একটু বেশি দাম, বা রাস্তা যেটা করতে চাইছেন আপনার কস্তুরি kind of restaurant, or you can do an aspirational restaurant which is occasional, but those people have a lot of money. Even Movenpick to all these, that premium suites in Gulshan, they sell one particular suite at around 30-40 rupees, which is more than Bengal. So these are the two kinds of markets you can cater to. So if you are doing ekebare, kind of a Mach Bhater dokan, kosturi cheo niche ba oi level, but the second one is premium. So that's your choice. But I personally feel that this one is more consistent in the sense you can't go wrong. But there you need to be, the challenges are more because there is competition. There are international brands which are entering Dhaka. But there's no reason why you can't slay.
So my second question is actually my question just from curiosity. So having meal in the restaurant, is it matter of cultural habit or having surplus money in hand?
Sorry, I couldn't get the question.
So because in the Southeast Asia, I have seen that many people actually they have food mostly in the restaurant, even the daily meals like lunch, breakfast, almost every meal. But in this part actually, I'm in doubt whether people feel like to have regular meal, lunch, dinner every time, 60% or 70% time outside. Is it matter of cultural habit or maybe?
Yeah, absolutely. See, you
surplus?
can't go out of, this is a part of the culture. You can't fight attitudes of human beings. Attitudes can't be. It's like you try and tell me roti is better than bhat খেলে মোটা হয়ে যাবে, শালা বাঙালি ভাতই খাবে আর বাবার ক্ষমতা নেই, কবজি ডুবিয়ে ঝর্ণা ঘি ঢেলে একটু একটু আলু ভাজা দিয়ে তারপরে শুক্তোটাকে তুলবে। You can't change attitude, sorry. You can change everything, and you tell Punjabi, and you know, they once in a while they have a rajma chawal. I was born and brought up in Delhi. Rajma chawal is like a celebration, and then meat banta hai, ye banta hai. But you have the roti and the, you know, kali dal, yeah, this dal and all. There's no question, you can't question them. Attitudinal change doesn't happen, that's my advertising learning. Don't even attempt to do it. It's like Kellogg's failed in India, if you ask me. They have done something, but Hindustan is paratha, muli da paratha, বাড়িতে পরোটা খেলাম, একটু লুচি আর তরকারি, আলু ফুলকপির চচ্চড়ি, you can't change that habit. Even the youngsters have not gone to Kellogg's, some of them. So Kellogg's se দুধ দিয়ে খাবে বাঙালি, ওটা হবে না. Sorry.
Okay, thank you.
We'll come to the friend who's right in the front. Okay, someone at the back. I remember from this, I once went to Bangladesh, and for breakfast I had this amazing menu of khichuri and ilish mach bhaja,
Yeah, of course.
which is not typical of the menu that we find in Kolkata.
একদম ঠিক, একদম। আমরা বর্ষার সময় ও কলকাতাতে করি, চলে আসবে খিচুড়ি আর
Ilish mach bhaja.
Excuse me.
আর কেউ নেই বোধহয়। Thank you very, আচ্ছা।
There's
No.
one small question, sir. I am Vishal. I am from Siliguri. There's a beautiful podium out here with a wheel on it. My question is,
जरा माइक ऊपर ले लेंगे थोड़ा। हाँ।
sir, there's a beautiful podium with a wheel on it. My question is, food on wheels. Why isn't it that popular as it is in Hyderabad, in the eastern part of India, especially in Siliguri or northeastern or in Calcutta? Food on wheels is not popular, like in Hyderabad or Bangalore or those places. Why do you think this gap is there? Still, people of this place love to eat on roadside stall, but still, why this concept is not popular in this side of India?
No, there's no reason why it will not be popular, because it all depends on the government permissions. In Bombay, food trucks are banned. In Delhi, food trucks are banned. Although there is an illegal guy who is going to sell, you know, in Chowdi Bazaar, he's selling his chole bhature, but nobody challenges him because he's got a, you know, hafta coming in from the MCD. So all that is happening, but food trucks officially, governments have not given permission. We are working very hard to tell the Honorable Chief Minister to start it in, you know, Sector 5. I've been personally making presentations to, you know, Amita. So I think we should be doing some kind of a headway in that. So if you are officially permitted, because you need a license, you need an FSSI, you need the local municipality license, and even in Bangalore, whoever's doing it's not, you know, not official. So it's not happening. There's only one food truck in Bombay which is moving around, and you can only park it inside a Bandra Kurla complex building and try and sell that. But food trucks, mobile vans, I mean, I don't need to tell you, I mean, you go online and see the world, I'm sure you've traveled. It is the trend. Everywhere in the world, that's the most happening trend, which has not happened as yet, but it's bound to happen. Wish me luck. I should be talking to you about West Bengal. Siliguri is part of that. Give me 3 months. They're slightly busy with this Gorkha thing. So once this happens, it will be through.
Thank you.
One last question we'll take, friends.
Yeah.
Hello, sir. My name is Jasbal, and I also come from Siliguri. I run a North Indian restaurant there. It's called Punjabi Kadai. I want to ask you that as we Indians are heading towards globalization, what is your say on the future of North Indian food?
In East India?
Yes.
ਤੁਸੀਂ ਪੰਜਾਬੀ ਹੋ?
हाँ जी सर, बिल्कुल
ਮੈਨੂੰ
आएगा।
ਪੰਜਾਬੀ ਆਂਦੀ ਹੈ। ਮੈਂ ਤੁਹਾਨੂੰ ਕਹਿ ਰਿਹਾ ਜੀ, blind ਖੇਲੋ। The whole, let me tell you one thing. Thanks to Karan Johar and Yash Chopra, Hindi film is Punjabi. Hindi music, Indian music is Punjabi. Look at Mikka, look at everybody. Everything is becoming Punjabi. And then you cannot take out the most popular Indian cuisine. Indian is known as naan, roti, kali dal, thoda tandoori chicken and paneer and everything, butter chicken. So you can't take that out. This is the safest bet you have taken. You just can't go wrong. For a Bengali restaurant, it's a challenge. For you, no challenge. Dhabas to any kind of food, and if you make it good, you will go a long way.
What do you think about the youth? Do you think that they are into it now?
Of course, 101. See, I'll tell you what. I was a part of the research of the MTV when it was relaunched with Kuruvilla, Alex Kuruvilla. So we learned something from that research that Indians initially, I don't know if you know, the MTV feed which came to India was the international feed. They used to just do jang, 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 all kinds of English kind of nonsense. People didn't connect. The youth of India did not connect with that. I will give you an example. Till the time we understood, and in research, we actually concluded, AC Nielsen concluded, saying that Indian youth wants a lassi, I repeat, wants a lassi, but they want a lassi in the can. A canned lassi. So, it's important for you to understand that even they, one example I'll give you, at the end of it, everybody, even if they're binging and dancing, they will go back to a nice biryani or a roti and some kind of a naan. So, Indian youth has never gone out of eating this. They will continue to eat this. Nothing to worry about. If daru hai
हाँ जी बिल्कुल लगी
है ना?
हाँ जी हाँ जी हाँ जी
हाँ एक ठेका बना दो अगर चिकन टिक्का एंड ठेका बेचो कोई गल नहीं.
थैंक यू सर.
Okay.
Thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, sir. And
Pleasure's mine.
we have this beautiful memento from Franchise India to our special guest, Mr. Anjan Chatterjee. Thank you so much, both of you.